Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fashion Sphere 2020. My name is Emily Block, and I will be your host for tonight's Fashion Showcase. This Fashion Showcase was a co-production between multiple departments at the City College of San Francisco, including fashion, visual media and design, and broadcast electronic media arts. I would also like to give a massive set of thanks to viewers all over the world who made it here. Much like our CCSF community, we may be broadcasting live from San Francisco, but we know that you are all over the world. Whether you're a student, faculty member, family member, or someone who just stumbled in here, I want to emphasize that it was no small feat putting this show together amid these crazy times. We hope that you are all home safe and sound and that you enjoy the showcase that we're putting on. To start us off, I would like to pass the mic to the chair of the fashion department, Natalie Smith.
Hello, everyone. I'm Natalie Smith, chair of the fashion department at City College of San Francisco. I'm here with my student producers from the fashion show production class to welcome you to Fashion Sphere 2020. What began 17 weeks ago as planning for the much anticipated 19th annual spring fashion event has turned into the virtual fashion showcase that you are about to see. Along with the rest of the world, we too had to pivot in a new direction. We joined forces with the Broadcast Electronic Media Arts Department and their students to create a spectacular one-hour broadcast, highlighting the talents and skills of 7 senior fashion designers, of which 5 are competing for 3 coveted scholarships from Academy of Art University. Proudly, I'd like to emphasize that this showcase was produced entirely by our CCSF students. So, I say we get this party started. What do you say, producers?
Let's do it!
Yeah.
Well, you heard them. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Fashion Sphere 2020. Take it away, Emily.
Thank you so much for that, Natalie. Next, I wanted to highlight a little bit of what you're currently seeing on the screen. For over 13 years, students from the Visual Media Design Department have been designing the show's looks, its posters, booklets, and other collateral under the guidance of the faculty and staff in VMD. We wanted to take a moment to highlight some of that work. On the screen, you can see some of the posters of the designs from prior years. This year's design came to us from VMD student Andrea Roble. Speaking on her design, she said, "When the fashion department shared their showcase concept with me, I was especially inspired by their sustainable, immersive, and dynamic approach to the event. The design is meant to capture the ever-evolving atmosphere of the fashion industry, as well as how it relates to the natural world. By utilizing layers, texture, refraction, my solution sets the scene for an innovative and intriguing experience." Once again, just inviting you to take in the design on the screen. I think it's safe to say Andrea knocked it out of the park, and that her work embodies the idea of Fashion Sphere. Now, normally this show would have happened at a live venue with a runway and all of that jazz, but unfortunately, due to the current pandemic, all of those plans had to be redone. But we're here now, and we are going to celebrate Pandemic Be Damned! Now let's move on to our main show. Today, we will be taking in the Senior Fashion Showcase, where 7 senior fashion design students will all showcase their completed collections. These student designers have been pouring their heart and souls into sewing and stitching these outfits you're about to see. Our fabulous students from BEMA were each paired with a senior fashion designer to produce a spotlight video that you're about to see. But wait, that's not all that we have on today's agenda. At the end of today's show, we will be announcing scholarship awards. We are proud to announce that 4 extremely talented and deserving students will be receiving a 2-year scholarship to San Francisco's Academy of Art University to continue their studies in fashion. We will be announcing the recipients at the end of today's show, so stay tuned. Also, did you know that we will be collecting donations? In previous years, these events had a ticketed entry to recoup some of the costs related to putting on a live show, as well as providing for future endeavors. But this year, we have partnered with the Foundation of City College of San Francisco to provide a space for viewers to donate if you can. The foundation is a registered 501c3 nonprofit, and they do a lot of work directly with CCSF students and the community as a whole. Those of you paying attention have probably seen this link in the chat, but for everyone else, you can find the link to donate in the description just beneath this video. We would be honored to receive your donation if you are able to share. And of course, you can follow the CCSF Fashion Department, VMD, and BEMA at the links below to follow their social media. We are on most major platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok. Of course, don't forget to hit the follow button on here on Twitch as well to be up to date on all future broadcasts. All right then. With all that out of the way, let's check out our first designer, Paige Muganum, and her collection titled Arizona Dandy.
My name is Paige McGannum, and I am one of the senior designers at City College of San Francisco. I got started sewing about 6 or 7 years ago because of my interest in cosplay. At that time, the pre-made costumes or the manufactured costumes really just weren't as detailed or constructed as well as I had hoped they would be. So I decided, I think I can make something better. So I taught myself how to sew. For a very long time, my education was just all self-taught until I decided that it might be kind of nice to go to a school and try to learn, I guess, more of the official techniques or try to learn the things that I had missed in just teaching myself. So that was back in 2015 or 16, and now I'm here, 2020, and I'm pretty excited to say that I will be graduating in May, at the end of May or early June, with a degree from this college and other ones as well in fashion design and theater costume. My interest is mostly in technical design work. I'm really excited to enter the fashion industry and kind of get going. I feel like I've been in school for a very long time, so I'm excited to just kind of jump right in. The inspiration for this collection really came from Regency era menswear clothing. I really like looking to fashion over the decades or vintage styles to inspire my designs currently. It also inspires the clothes that I like to wear on a day-to-day basis. And so when I finally found my inspiration of this menswear outfit, I thought, well, what color palettes are gonna look good with this silhouette? I generally gravitate towards earth tones, so I started thinking about, what kind of earth-toned color combinations look good together. The original picture that I found showed plaid in the menswear design, and I thought, that's kind of interesting. So I started looking for fabrics, like plaid fabrics, to see, can I find something that really inspires me? Then I found this particular plaid, and I sort of went back and forth on it for a little bit, thinking, is this ugly or is this cool, or is this ugly or is this cool? I finally landed on it being cool, decided I liked it. And it really reminded me of a desert sunset. So all of those things kind of combined gave me the name Arizona Dandy for the collection. Mostly, it's exactly what it sounds like, inspired by Regency era menswear and the colors of an Arizona desert. And so I'm really excited to share my collection with everybody, as is, I'm sure, all of the other designers. I'm mostly excited because since most of my background is in sewing and less designing, when I really got into this field, I was making costumes that were already created. I was just replicating costumes that I had seen from comic books or anime, things like that. Designing has never really been super easy for me or comes really naturally. I just decided to try to participate in the senior collection because I kind of wanted to prove to myself that not only can I sew an entire collection well, but I can actually design 5 plus pieces from nothingness, basically, starting from zero to having a fully realized concept.
Now, I might be a proud Californian, but I wouldn't mind being called an Arizona dandy if I got to wear those clothes. Up next, we have Enrique Chavez with his collection titled Truly Classic. Let's watch, shall we?
Hi, my name is Enrique Chavez. I'm a fashion design student at City College of San Francisco. I was born in Guatemala and graduated there as an auto mechanic. My main goal is to become a recognizable fashion designer. When I start a collection, I always look around and take pictures of interesting things. And also I go to fabric store and touch the fabric and see what they have, and ideas start coming in my head. After sketching many figures, I pick the ones that I think my client would like, taking into consideration color, texture, scale, and I start making the garments. My inspiration from this collection comes from the Golden Gate Bridge. Golden Bridge is an iconic bridge, and it's been standing for 87 years, and it will continue standing for many decades to come. One of my friends introduced me to salsa dancing, and I became passionate about it. And at that time, I was buying new garments all the time, and I had to pay for alteration. I knew the basic of sewing, and I became a little bit uncomfortable paying all the time to have the alteration. All I needed was a sewing machine. The garment that I design can be wear every season, and the design will last for many years. I don't design just for one season, and this is good for my customers' pocket and our environment. That's why I call this collection truly classic.
You know, it's easy to take for granted the enduring appeal of some articles of clothing. With any luck, Enrique's designs might live on to become classics of their own. Coming up, we have Sophia Marie Polos and her collection, Martyrdom.
My collection, titled Martyrdom, will pay respect to all those who died for what they believed in. This has happened to so many people in history, such as witches, peacekeepers, natives, and activists. I'm inspired by their dedication, their pain, their love, and their suffering. Friends, I want you to know that it is not my mission to produce conscious clothing, but it's so much more, and that I am committed to. My name is Sophia Marie. I am a sustainable fashion designer, and this is my world. Undyed natural fibers. I mainly used a hemp silk blend to create all my colorful looks. Well, colorful, let's rephrase. The color story is dark mixed with light, muted blues, greens, and purples. I got these colors by dyeing from the resources that come from the earth, such as hibiscus, madder root, cochineal, and indigo. I dyed and undyed. Dyed and let sit for a week till it got moldy, or better yet, looked like it was rotting, decomposing. My collection is neither spring, summer, or fall, winter. These looks are designed for all weather, and I see them in urban area locations such as SF, Tokyo, Melbourne, and London. In my collection, I used dead stock material and also upcycled some items. I mainly work with natural fibers such as wool, silk, and hemp. One evening, I was watching a documentary on Netflix called True Cost. It is a documentary that explains the truth about the impact the fashion industry is having on our world. Facts like the fashion industry is the second biggest polluter right behind oil, or that fast fashion kills lives, and only 10% of the clothes people donate to charity or thrift stores get sold. What happens to the rest? Thank you for your curiosity that led you here.
The environmental impacts of textiles are serious issues, and solving and mitigating those impacts represent new challenges in the frontier of fashion. I'm glad that Sophia isn't alone in sharing this concern. Up next, we have BBASS and her collection, The Orient.
My name is BBASS, and I'm a senior designer at the Fashion Show Showcase. I want to create a collection, and I want to create a company, and I want to create clothes that piss off some people and, make other people feel amazing and good and ready. I've drawn a zillion sketches. I have completely obsessed over the fabric. I've spent all of my money. I've given everything. I've given blood, sweat, tears, and I've never felt better. It's staying up all night when the world is quiet and putting on some nice music and just working one-on-one with my materials. The thing that I've learned most from my college is that you have to listen to your fabric. It just feels like such an intimate process to me. Like, there's no shortcuts. You can't skip any steps because this is like a piece of fabric especially, but as well as the pattern pieces, the geometry, the basic blueprinting of a whole design. It's all a very delicate process. You need to treat whatever you work with as your baby. My collection is called The Orient, based off of the history of Middle Eastern society in its aspect of existence within the Western world. The colliding aspects of women who've gone to war in the Iraq War, the past history of women within the Middle East and their clothing and their interpretation on fashion, as well as the more essential aspects of Middle Eastern society. The glorious, monumental, mathematically perfect architecture of the mosques. The geometry and the colors and the silhouettes. So yes, that's my collection, The Orient. It is essentially my first step into the thesis of my design work.
East meets West, and for those dresses, you gotta say yes. Up next, we have Laura Lambert and her collection titled Ancient Aliens. Let's find out more, shall we?
So my design aesthetic is kind of like if Cher went to a music festival or a Grateful Dead show, what would she be wearing? My name is Laura Lambert. I'm one of the senior fashion designers working towards an associate's degree in design at City College in San Francisco. My designs are mostly festival fashions. I'm really inspired by the modern music festival scene that I've found such a home from. Usually my fashion comes out a little, the looks come out different than the original illustrations because once I start working, it's a creative process. And things evolve and things change. The fabric speaks to me and I get new ideas and have breakthroughs and innovative experiences. My background is pretty alternative, maybe considered a little unconventional. I used to follow the remaining members of the Grateful Dead around the country on tour, selling my tie-dye t-shirts and upcycled fashions in the parking lot. I'm also super inspired by the 1960s and 70s psychedelic movement. I love the colors, the prints, the textures, the music, and it's something that I bring strong into my design voice. My design philosophy is all about helping women to express their inner being. When you look inside, what is the mythical being that you see, and how can we help express that through dress? My inspiration for this collection is ancient aliens. I really love the juxtaposition between old and new. Ancient Egypt is one of my biggest inspirations. I find the jewelry and the fashion just so fascinating, and I'm really into the 1920s Egyptian revival, the whole flapper scene, Art Deco. So I brought all those influences together and decided to put a modern twist on it by bringing in the alien aspect. I used mostly silks, because silk is my favorite fabric, it's so fabulous, and hemp blends. My colors were inspired by the supernova images from the Hubble Space Telescope. So I used classical silhouettes and draping techniques paired with vibrant purples and lilacs and greens to bring it to a modern spacey edge. My girl is a raver on another planet. She just packed her bags for a music festival on Venus. She's a time-traveling, multi-dimensional, mythical being, so she doesn't care what people think of her, and she loves to express her magical and mystical side through the way that she dresses. Festival fashion is a really big trend that's happening, and I'm really excited to put my mark and my vision on what that can mean.
Well, that was definitely out of this world. And if anyone has tickets for the festival on Venus, hit me up. Coming up next, we have Cynthia Fernandez with her collection titled The Sunsets West.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Fernandez, and I'm a senior fashion design student at City College of San Francisco. So I moved to San Francisco from San Diego when I was 18. San Francisco is always a beautiful city to me. I completed what's considered a college general education at CCSF and was accepted into UCLA. So I ended up in LA for 2 years afterward. After I graduated, I moved back to San Francisco. I started this program about 2 years ago. My original intention was to just gain more knowledge on clothing design and then start an online business just selling one-off pieces I had produced. But the more I got into the program, the more I realized there's a craftsmanship to the trade that should be respected and sought after in the timeless fashion of education, apprentice, and profession. So that's where I'm at right now, and I would like to continue my education in clothing design and hopefully work for a designer for a few years after that and then start a brand. My work obviously starts with a vision. I then make a sketch, and when I feel like it's gotten the point across, I move on to the pattern draft. Since I don't have a set of slopers, I then find a pattern that somewhat resembles what I'm going for and trace it. After it's traced, I make the pattern adjustment of what I imagine the piece to look like. After that, I make a mock-up in muslin. It definitely never comes out the way I imagined it, so from there I make the necessary adjustments. I'll make another muslin to make sure it's just right. But usually I just make the live version with adjustments and hope it comes out right. My collection inspiration started last spring in Annette Julie's Pattern 2 class. First day of class, she told us we had to design, I think it was a 15-piece collection, and execute 4 of these pieces within the semester. I think in my mind, this collection started out with a mermaid. I had a vision of a mermaid in a sparkly sequined stretch skirt, and for some reason, she was on Venice Beach. I was planning on making various versions of stretchy, pastel-y, sequency pieces, but the thought of Venice Beach led me down a line of the rich history there. From people on skates with short shorts to fit people shirtless in military surplus jackets. This is where my collection took on its life, this rich history of Venice in the 70s. This then led me down the line to the go-go scene of the 60s, Sunset Boulevard and the Whiskey A Go-Go. The styles of these times really stood out to me as a period statement, and I realized there was something really cool there. And if I could recreate this in a contemporary way as a born and raised Californian, having lived in San Diego, San Francisco, and LA, then I could pay homage to my roots in the only place I've ever really known. I hope this executes well and that all my future work will be able to show this.
Summer's just around the corner, and I can already see the people on the piers and the beaches, assuming they open the beaches back up. You know what they say, West Coast, Best Coast, and Cynthia is doing her state proud. Following that, we'll have ELISA Figueroa and her collection, Kaleidoscope.
You got this shit locked and loaded.
Hi, my name is Sophia Figueroa. I'm a fashion design student at City College of San Francisco. A little bit about myself. I was born in Guatemala, Central America. I grew up in Minnesota. From there, I moved to Louisiana, where I had a small women's clothing boutique. I decided to leave that behind to pursue my career in fashion here in the Bay Area. The collection that I'm actually presenting to you is the first collection I designed when I first started school. I chose to design 5 dresses for this collection. They are inspired by flowers and butterflies. I designed and painted my own textiles so that my vision for the collection could be possible. My dream is to be able to keep making my own textiles for all of my future designs. My current goal is to start my own fashion label where I also want to design all of the textiles for the brand. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy this creative process with me.
Look at all those colors. Well, I don't know about you, but I was pretty floored with all of the talent and creativity on display today. From the different styles to everyone's story, all 7 designers truly deserve a congratulations and a round of applause for their work and perseverance, and especially for completing their program in a time of unprecedented difficulty. I also wanted to make sure to thank you all for joining us today, watching through all of those pieces, and for your support. We've still got a bit more show ahead before we reach the end. But before we announce the recipients of scholarships, I just wanted to remind everyone once again that you can find the social media handles of all of the designers and for the fashion department at CCSF just down below in the description. What you can also find is a link to where you can donate to the Foundation of City College, a nonprofit that helps support affordable and high-quality education. We've reached that point where it's finally time to announce the scholarship recipients. First, we'll be announcing our 3 design scholarships. For our first recipient, Laura Lamberg and her collection, Ancient Aliens. For our second recipient, Sophia Marie and her collection, Martyrdom. And finally, our third and final design scholarship will be awarded to BBASS and her collection, The Orient. Big round of applause to our 3 senior designers. Up next, in addition to the 3 scholarships for the senior designers, the Academy of Art University has added a 4th scholarship in the category of fashion merchandising. We are pleased to announce that the Fashion Merchandising Scholarship will be awarded to Miley Dow! While Miley's work wasn't showcased in the same manner that our senior designers received, Miley was one of the producers in the fashion show production class. Congratulations, Miley! Now, joining us once again is Natalie Smith, Chair of the Fashion Department, to give a few words.
A big round of applause and congratulations to our 4 scholarship winners, Laura, Sophia, Bibi, and Miley. Bravo! It's been an incredible journey, and I want to thank our Dean, Jesse Lee, for his leadership, our amazing fashion department faculty for their dedication and hard work, our office manager, Tricia Felix, and our phenomenal students. And a very special thank you to our collaborators, Sheila McFarland, Misha Antonich, and Andrea Medina from the broadcast department. And from visual media design, John Seckman, Patricia Chaitrowski, Colin Hall, and student designer Andrea Robel, who created our fabulous Fashion Sphere logo. Lastly, I want to thank Peter McGrath and the CCSF Foundation for their ongoing support. Thank you for joining us for Fashion Sphere 2020. We hope that you enjoyed our broadcast. A huge shout out to our dynamic host, Emily Block. Thank you, Emily. Until next year, please take good care and be well in your fashion sphere. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Natalie. And again, a big congratulations to all the recipients, and give it up for all of our designers. And again, if you're able to, please consider donating a gift to the Foundation of City College of San Francisco. Your gift will go on to support amazing work like what you've seen here. And again, you can find all of the relevant handles for all of the designers and departments in the description below. Make sure to support everyone. Give a like, give a follow, and check out the amazing creations of some of our designers. Thank you, everyone, so much. I'm your host, Emily Block, and this was Fashion Sphere 2020.